how narcissistic parents will get upset with their children if their children are not picking their sides, and expect their children to pick sides in family dynamics. That is narcissistic one-on-one, because that's two different relationships. You're a mother and she's my sister. Triangulation at its best. Narcissistic parents are known to triangulate among their children, and they don't like that child for whatever reasons. They will make their children decide on them or taking sides with their siblings. That is narcissistic. Because of their own biases with that other child, their job is to isolate that child and make that child as the problem in the family dynamic, and make others see them as the problem. So it causes sibling rivalry because the narcissistic parent is upset with the fact that others are liking the sibling over their opinion. That's a problem. That's a problem. And they do that. A narcissistic parent is known to put others at odds, especially siblings, with the black sheep or scapegoat in the family, due to them having personal biases toward that child that is considered the black sheep and scapegoat for their own personal gain. Because I don't like them, I need everyone around me not to like them. The child that has to choose is in a conflict. They're seeing it as, this is my sibling and you're my parent. Why should I have to choose? But the narcissistic parent makes them choose. And how they do it, they'll withhold finances. They will continue slanderous rumors about the scapegoat and black sheep in the family to cause controversy. Some of the ways that they leverage their control, they will make the child, they will target the child that has to choose with money, finances, or make them feel that their sibling is less than them. What do I mean by that? They'll say statements like, they're never there for you. I'm always there for you. You remember when you needed this and I came through for you. I did this for you. She doesn't even do these things for you. He doesn't even do these things for you. Instead of looking at the different roles as, this is my sibling and you are my parent. This is how sadistic it becomes when you're dealing with a narcissistic parent, and will deny it. Oh no, that's not me. Now, both children are being weaponized. Both children are dealing with the result of a narcissistic parent not being able to have control over the dynamic, over both of them. And now the siblings are at odds. That sibling has to choose when they're supposed to just have a parent and a sibling, two different roles. There are some parents that will overly coddle a child even in adulthood, and they have issues with separating themselves in healthy boundaries. Some parents should not continue to coddle their children in adulthood. Why are you continuing to do it? And why can't you separate? Why can't you separate yourself from that child? What personal convictions you have, which is allowing the child to manipulate you when they've been abusive toward you, when they've been neglectful toward you? It goes back to the parent. But in this dynamic, it's less about the child and more about you. Why are you finding difficult in letting them go, even in their adulthood? And what level of convictions is it related toward you and your identity? What level of convictions do you have if you let that child go and allow them to experience life? The reason why they deny the level of abuse is because they've convinced themselves that it's not abuse. You have to understand, a narcissist, that's why I tell you, I don't argue back with these people. Get your bags and leave. You're not going to win arguing with this diagnosis. You're not going to win arguing with a narcissistic person. There's no point in explaining. The reason why they do that, because narcissistic people believe in undermining other people. The reason why they have the ability to undermine other people, because they believe their toxic behavior. They believe their toxic narrative. No one can change their perception of the world or who they are. Nobody. That's why most are like, oh, she's been like that her whole life. They have, and I'm going to leave them where they lay. They don't want to change. They get so much glorification out of minimizing, manipulating, and controlling others. Think about it. You may not be abiding to it, but someone else is. If you look at a family dynamic, someone is still in communication with this person. You may have had the tenacity to walk away, but someone else is still believing the foolery and the toxicity that this person presents on a daily basis. They tolerate it. So if they're tolerating, why would I stop? All a narcissistic person needs is one person to tolerate their toxicity, and that what keeps them in their level of delusion, of them realizing that they're really narcissistic and that they're really toxic. They just need one person. They just need one flying monkey. They just need one person to agree, and not necessarily all the time agree, to tolerate them. Tolerating them, knowing that they're narcissistic, but guess what? This is what it is, and I'm going to settle for less. That's all they need. Just one person. And that inflates their ego, and it also what? Minimizes the delusion that something is wrong with me. Something is wrong. Something is wrong with them. They don't want to be around me. You're around me, right? You don't see me as wrong, right? That's why the flying monkey plays an important role in the narcissistic person's life. They always have to have one around them. Think about your own families. Think about your own relationship. They always got a sidekick somewhere. They always got someone that they may not be enforcing, but they're listening. One listening ear. That's it. The toxicity will continue. The toxicity will continue to go on. They'll send them out to antagonize you. They always send a flying monkey to antagonize you, to probe you, to investigate, so they can figure up ways to conspire against you. This is what the narcissistic person does with the flying monkey. That flying monkey is just as guilty as the narcissistic person, because they're tolerating the level of toxicity and they never correct it, and they shy away from the truth. And when it's time to confront, guess what they are? Guess what they're saying? You know how she is. You know how he is. Or they have toxic amnesia. They don't know anything. They'll never say the things that contributed to why the relationship is narcissistic between you and that person. The flying monkey is very deceptive. They play a part. They instigate. They are known as the instigators, and they can be very overt and covert. And they have delusion when it's time to correct the behavior. They'll never say the things that contributed to why the relationship is narcissistic between you and that person. It's not your job to be concerned if they get healed. A narcissistic parent can get healed. A narcissistic co-parent can get healing, can recover, but if they want to. But it's not your job to impose it upon them. That's too much work. I got to worry about me, especially if they've shown you already they're narcissistic. Take your expectation out. If they don't want it, you don't give it. I can't make you do anything that you don't want to do. If you don't see yourself as a problem, then that's not my job. Most of the time, most narcissistic people will never admit that they're narcissistic, because they've done a great job convincing that everyone else is wrong and they're right. So that's why I say you're wasting your time. This is off of diagnosis. That's why I say take your expectations out of it. You're wasting your time trying to convince them that they have a problem. Some people are narcissistic, but some people have narcissistic tendencies. What's the difference? I look at narcissistic tendencies off of the environment and the modeling behavior of what you're normally exposed to, probably from adolescent years to adult years. that person may not be a full-blown narcissist or meet the criteria of the DSM-5, but due to them being around a narcissistic person, having a narcissistic parent, guardian, caregiver, or being in environments where narcissism was at its highest, you learn those traits. You learn how to maneuver the world as a narcissist. You do this knowingly and unknowingly, okay? That's why I'm so big on home environments. Your home environment structure you and create your individuality and who you are today. You was raised in a home environment that was chaotic, full of survival mode. There was single parent dysfunctionalism, narcissistic home environments, broken home environments. In some shape or form, that has become a part of you. Let's give an example. If I had a narcissistic mother, I may have some of those narcissistic tendencies off of the home environment and the modeling behavior in the home. If I had a narcissistic mother, I may have some of those narcissistic tendencies off of the home environment and the modeling behavior in the home. I'll give you an example of that. If she was controlling in any type of way in her relationships, with me not knowing that she was a narcissistic person or parent, I am likely to learn that characteristics and bring that into my home environment. It does not make me a narcissist. I just picked up on the traits. And most narcissistic people are very manipulative. They're very controlling. And how that can show up in my adulthood, if I had a narcissistic parent, I feel that I need to be very dominating in my relationships. I feel that I need to be very controlling in my relationships. You cannot make someone be a parent, and you can't do it for the sake of the children. It sounds so cliche, but so many people who are co-parenting, especially with narcissistic partners, they feel it's if their obligation and duty to do a build-a-bear exercise, to do a build-a-bear partner, to make this person become the parent they need to be. I'm sorry, you're wrong. That's number one. And sometimes you may do that. That may be stemming from your own background. That may be stemming from your own inner child. That may be stemming from your own unresolved upbringing. And you're not trying to impose that trauma that you experienced in your childhood on your children.